Welcome to our show. Today I am joined by Vikki. She's a leading holistic weight loss provider. She has been, let's say, highly skeptical of the recent peptide boom. Welcome, Vikki.
Thanks for having me. And highly skeptical, Alyssa, is an understatement. If you know me, you know I am anti-peptide girl. I talk about it all the time and give reasons, multiple reasons why. So really, aren't we just putting a Band-Aid on it? The fact is, when we start doing things like that, we start messing up metabolism, thyroid issues, and liver issues. We start having all kinds of things because we stop eating. And when I was asked to help somebody coach after they started them on peptides, people didn't want to eat. When you do that, then things start going terribly wrong inside. So instead of getting to the root problem like I've been taught, and really what we should do, pinpoint those root problems and go for them. Start fixing the liver, start fixing the kidneys, all the things in the gut that are really bothering us, with this going to the basics of the food that we're eating. Once we start doing that, things start changing around and flowing easy. We get away from that by just a simple shot. I'm just not on board with it.
That is a fair point, because if somebody just uses peptides without changing their lifestyle, it does become a Band-Aid. I see peptides as a tool, not the whole solution. The real transformation comes with combining protein, strength training, and changing your habits. Once somebody dials in their nutrition, the goal isn't to stay on them forever. This is just a tool to get people through the very first part of their journey in changing their habits. Once you change your habits, the goal is to taper off of them. So Vikki, I see your point, but I truly believe that we can combine these tools with what you're already doing to help clients get their optimal results.
So I totally understand what you're saying. You can use a little bit of what you're doing and what I'm doing. But here's how I feel about that. If you don't have your nutrition in check before going in, that's where you're making the mistake. Here's why I know that. And I see it in my clinic all the time. People come in and their muscles and their skin is just hanging on. There's no muscle mass. You can tell. And I know you guys have seen it, and they call it Ozempic face, right? Here's what has to happen first. You've got to get your genetics done. You've got to see what exercises you should be doing. You need to be on the right vitamins and minerals before you're going in. And again, I'm not saying that I'm all for this peptide boom, but I will say that you need to know the genetics of your body first. I see on Facebook everywhere, it drives me crazy. I don't even respond. Where people are talking about, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to have this peptide, you need to have that peptide. Sometimes those types of things can actually make you sick. And I see those clients in here too. Those are the ones that are not detoxifying properly. And that is so essential, especially when you're doing all this stuff together. You need to know the deets about your body.
Vikki, you are absolutely right. People need to know what they can and cannot take before they actually start the peptides. And I will tell you something, I have denied clients because when I looked at their DNA testing, it says they could not take these peptides. They would have complete adverse effects. So just know that I'm completely on board with DNA testing. I think it's an absolutely necessary thing to do. And within my clinic, I will deny people, and that's just the bottom line.
Here's the deal. Peptides are here to stay, Alyssa. So I know that I have to coach around it. With that being said, as long as people are doing their vitamins and minerals and then making sure that they're following a good diet plan, I'm all about that. But this is what's kept me off the fence too, on being able to say, hey, listen, go check this out. Where do they come from? I had somebody text me and say they were going to get their peptides from a pool guy. And I find out roofers are carrying them. How can that even be great when I know most of these come from overseas? So that's just not good. And then you can get things that come in the mail that you don't even know if they're meant for you. I don't know, man. It's just a red flag all the way around for me. You're going to have to do a better job at changing my mind.
That, Vikki, is an excellent point. And honestly, you're right. This whole time you've been right. And I agree with everything that you've been saying. However, they are now compounding peptides at FDA-approved pharmacies. They are third-party tested, and they are not coming off the gray market anymore. Yes, some people still are. I can't be accountable for them. However, with the company that I use, they are coming from pharmacies right here in the USA. They are locally sourced, and not only that, they are coming and recommended from a physician themselves.
All right, so here's the deal. No. I am all about your vitamins and minerals and making sure you have your DNA. If at that point and you are dialed into eating right and doing all those things and you feel that you still want to talk about peptides, I can go ahead and say, hey, I have a reliable source. Yes, okay. But for me, it's all individual. And that's why I pride myself on working with the company that I do and the doctors that I do. Individually, that is not a path down I want to follow, right? You want to, then get yourself with knowledgeable people that can dial you in so you don't get sick and you don't make mistakes because you don't know what's in them. And there's so many people just going in and getting injections because they trust the doctors or they trust their pool boy. And what harm could one little shot do? A lot of harm, and people need to understand that. It's so important that you know the facts before going in with anything and everything that you put into your body.
All right, Vikki LeBeau. It seems like I did not convince you to recommend peptides for your clients. However, I think we're going to get together again after this, because when I share with you about the DNA and the peptides together and I bring you more evidence, I think I might change your mind again. I'm working on it. You're a tough cookie. I knew this was going to be tough. I didn't think you were going to say no, but that's the reality of the situation. We're going to go and we're going to do this again.
Fantastic. I'm ready for more questions. Bring them on.